Welcome to episode 2 of Cook It and Book It, presented by Ballislife. My name is Sara Jane Gamelli, and I am here with Looch. We got a
What's
good
up,
slate
guys?
for you guys
What's up?
today.
What's
What's
up?
up, Looch?
How
How
much?
you
How was
doing?
weekend? Was good. Week's been good for you, or treating you well, or what's going on?
I mean, it was great up until, I'm not gonna lie, I I got a new phone this morning or yesterday because my phone fried. We were gonna get in here at 9 a.m. and I text you at 9:01 and I say, "Oh, my
Oh,
alarm didn't go off." So
that's a good start to the morning.
it was great.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone has this issue, but I don't know, the iPhone 15. I'm so bad with technology. And I swear I put it on non-silent mode
You know
because
what?
on this little part,
Oh
there's like a
yeah.
new button now. There's no slide thing anymore.
So I use an Android. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't understand
Oh,
the iPhone
okay.
problems.
So
I'm
you're
on.
green bubble. Okay,
Yeah,
got
I'm a
it.
green
Got it,
bubble kind of
Luch.
guy. I am.
All right. All right. All right. I'll remember that. Oh, so anyway, we have a lot of good topics today. We're coming off the NFC, the AFC Championships games, which were incredible, lived up to the hype.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get into our bets, how we did, how some players performed, didn't perform. We'll move into the NBA. We'll talk about a couple of stuff going on there, some picks that I have tonight. And then we'll kind of move into some NHL, some hockey.
Yep.
Luch, I know you got the slate for us today.
Oh yep.
I know you're going to cook up and give us what the people want.
Yep. We're
What the
serving
people
winners
want.
today. Serving winners only today.
So I guess let's start with the championship games.
Yeah.
And eventually, by the way, we'll get into a little bit of Super Bowl odds. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, on the AFC side, I really want to talk about the Kansas City Baltimore game. Recap that a little bit. What
Yeah.
kind of bets you got?
Yeah.
Kansas City came out with the 17-0 win or 10 win.
Yeah.
Wasn't the most offensive game I've ever seen, but
Yeah.
they got it done. Give me
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Yeah, so that was a great game. Honestly, I know we were talking about it last week. Those were two of the top defenses in terms of points allowed in the league. And you know what? They showed off. They were KC was incredible. Their DBs were fantastic. Baltimore in the first half was a little bit shaky, but second half their defense was, typical Baltimore Ravens, lights out defense. Was a great game. Two incredible quarterbacks, probably the two of the best in the entire league. Honestly, I'm just really impressed. I know it's hard to be impressed, but I'm just really impressed with Mahomes. Like Mahomes just gets it done. Like
He gets it done, man.
sometimes you just need to throw stats in the garbage. Like,
He just gets it done.
he just gets offensively this year.
Yep.
Did they have their best year of all time? Not
No.
really. They had some kinks there. MVS was, didn't have their best season.
Listen,
Tony
but
is
he
out
made
of the-
that catch at the end to save the day.
They just,
and that's all that matters for his receiving prop.
yeah, the Chiefs just get it done. At the end of the day, the Chiefs are just, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, been there, done that for them. It was just, I wouldn't say it was a walk in the park, but when they controlled that first half, I was just, I just had this feeling like, okay, if Baltimore doesn't come out swinging early, like, it's gonna
get a punch early.
Yeah, it's gonna get away from them quick.
Even on the pregame, we saw Justin Tucker, which later came out and kind of had tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
Saying I didn't mean anything by this. But him and Patrick Mahomes and Kelce were kind of getting into it with his equipment down in the end zone.
Yeah, he like kicked his helmet, moved his kicking, whatever his thing. That was.
And he said, listen, he's like, I didn't mean anything by it. I've been doing this for 12 years. And, this is how I warm up. So there was already some pushing, some shoving. And I said, this is going to be a great game.
The fireworks. I like it.
But, I mean, let's talk about Travis Kelce for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy that's kind of struggled, a little bit through the season, ended up showing up where matters most.
Yeah.
In the playoffs, and ended up having 16 receptions for 116 yards.
Yeah, that's just.
So whoever had that prop, I think his over was what, 58 and a half or 60.
I think it was like
receiving
60
yards.
60 receiving yards. He doubled it. Yeah, he's just.
Doubled it.
He also beat the record of all-time receptions.
Jerry
Rice's record. So
that's incredible.
Just proves how great he really is. Just
And you know what, Luch? For all listen, I'm not hating. I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but
yeah.
for all the Swifties that think he is just some no name, this is one of the best tight ends to ever play the game.
Yeah, so some
I
people
mean,
would
the
say
fact
arguably the best.
they
Some
don't know
people,
who he
yeah,
is.
yeah, and
Really?
yeah. Oh, he's. Some people argue when it's all said and done, he might be the number one. He might be.
Yeah.
There, you can make some arguments, especially if they win another Super Bowl. Like, it's
You got a lot of tight ends. I mean,
there's so
Tony
many good ones.
Gonzalez.
Oh yeah,
Rob Gronkowski. I mean, the list goes on and on, but
Yeah.
he's definitely up there.
Oh, yeah.
Probably
yeah.
will be the best. And we're not going to talk about this now, but on Twitter, the
Yeah.
Brady Mahomes is trending, and I'm like, well, we'll talk about that at the end.
Let's by our next show, or sorry, the one after that, we're gonna have a serious conversation about that, because if he wins another one, then we're talking.
So Mahomes is going to his 4th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He went to his 6th straight AFC Championship game. I mean, that's a dynasty right there.
Yeah, that is a dynasty, and there's a lot of moving pieces every year too, and just still no Tyreek Hill either. So you don't have that big play.
Nope.
Player either, and it's.
I mean, Rashee Rice is amazing, but they don't have that amazing speed.
Yeah.
How far can we go after the catch kind of
Exactly
receiver?
Yeah.
One thing I did want to point out is that Baltimore, this game was all right until Zay Flowers had that incredible touchdown.
Yeah.
Lamar escaped pressure, and Kansas City was bringing the blitz, but. I think the difference in this game was red zone, conversions, 2 for 3 for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to lie, 95 yards for penalties. Oof. I really want to talk with you real quick about the end of that game.
Yes.
It seems like kind of Baltimore wasn't in it through the game, had 12 men on the field.
Yeah.
What was going on there?
Honestly, just being undisciplined in any game, not only the playoff, it's magnified by a million, but just being you can't give Patrick Mahomes a second chance. Like if it's 3rd and long and you take an offside penalty or a holding penalty, bring it to first down or whatever, like those are drive killers. And you just know there was that 12 man on the field. Like that's just, you can't take that penalty. Like the regular season. Okay.
It's crucial.
Especially with the Chiefs, you just knew when that penalty, you're just like, oof, like that's such a dagger. It's you got to be disciplined in the playoffs. It's easier said than done from the sidelines.
Oh, 100%.
But whatever miscommunication happened here, they got 12 on the field. That was just that's a no-no. We gotta avoid that at all costs. You can't give first downs to the Chiefs. You cannot.
It was weird because it was a 1-possession game. Yeah. There was still time left, and it's almost like they gave up. You got your home court.
I know it didn't feel like it didn't feel like a one. It was, but it didn't feel like a 1-possession game.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a 7-point game, and so between that and honestly, I want to get your opinion about Lamar Jackson. I don't think all of this is on him. Did he play his greatest game? No. Did he make some mistakes? Yeah. He threw for 200-something odd yards, which is more than he threw the week before against Houston.
Yep.
But I think the 2 biggest things here, game changing, was Zay Flowers' fumble. Credit L'Jarius Sneed there at the 1-yard line. I mean, that was it.
What a play. Yeah, that honestly.
What a play.
Credit to Sneed, because he gets in there like that. That is I don't remember if the Chiefs scored on that drive, but that is such a big
After
momentum.
that, I don't believe. I don't remember.
That's just such a big momentum swing. Like that essentially like brings them right back in it. The crowd's in it. Just to fumble there, like you could tell. Did you see what he did on the sidelines? He like hurt his hand because he like.
Yeah, he cut his hand because he put it on the bench. I mean, that's a rookie move.
Yeah,
he'll learn that.
He'll definitely learn
going forward.
Yeah, he was so frustrated because he knows how big of a moment that was.
Yeah,
and to fumble there, it's like he'll learn. He's a great player. Like all credit to Zay Flowers. Had a hell of a season. They have a great weapon in Zay Flowers, but those mistakes, he'll definitely learn from those.
No room for error there.
Exactly. Once again, we go back to it versus the Kansas City Chiefs. The tiny errors that you think, it's not going to mean much. Versus the Chiefs, it's magnified
100%
intensely. So big mistake there, and unfortunately, cost them. It could have been 7, and it's nothing.
100%. On the touchdown end, Pacheco, he definitely hit over his rushing yards. I think it was 58 and a half. Had a rushing touchdown, I think, plus 130. Zay Flowers plus 190.
Yes.
And, I think what sealed it, obviously, was on 2nd and 10. R. Jackson throws that costly interception.
Yeah.
And Deion Bush got the ball, and that was that.
Yeah, that was that. I actually did have Pacheco for anytime touchdown.
Did you?
That was one of my bets this weekend.
Check that off.
Check that off. We take our W's. I had a decent weekend, not amazing, but Pacheco runs. The way he runs, like I know, like
it's so funny. He it's like kind of he gets gassed up. They had
somebody said, and I saw it on Twitter, he runs like, when you try on new shoes in the store and the kids are like stomping and like trying all the grip on the shoes, like that's how he runs. But he runs funny. He runs so mean. He wants to just absolutely knock out the guy in front of him, and I love it. I love him, honestly. He's
and look at the Super Bowl last year. He had a couple of nice runs that kind of sealed it. So
yeah, he's a hell of a player. So we checked that one off. We hit that one plus 130.
And you know what? A couple of props I actually ended up getting was Nelson Aguilar over 16.5 receiving yards. And you want to know why? When they converted on 4th and 3, he ended up getting like 30 yards out of that.
Did he get it in one pass? Yeah. I remember.
He got it in one pass.
Yeah.
I was like, that was probably the worst bet I ever put in the NFL.
Well, the one catch bets or like the 1.5 catch bets get so sweaty because
the Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I think he had half a catch line.
Even Kyle J for the 49ers will get down to that.
Yeah.
He had a few.
Yeah, I love because those bets, it could happen at any point. It could be 3 seconds into the game, or there's a miscue in coverage and Nelson Aguilar's open down the field, and just that one pass gets you a win, and it just feels you're just sweating it out the whole game.
And you know what? That's playoff football. I mean, as we move into the Super Bowl, it's going to get harder and harder. Like, is Rice going to have X amount of props? Like a lot of the guys that don't normally step up, and that's always been the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, even guys like Sony Michel for the Patriots, like didn't have a best overall year, but became the Super Bowl hero.
Yeah.
So we're going to see that a lot. But did you have any other bets on this game?
Yes. So
besides Pacheco?
I did. I had 3 in this game and 2 in the other. In this game, I had Pacheco anytime. Obviously, I had Mark Andrews over 34.5 yards, receiving yards. He did not hit that. He actually, he wasn't targeted. It was
more of a decoy.
Yeah, like honestly,
it's kind of crazy.
Just talking about the game in general, I feel like the Baltimore Ravens plan, like it's not like they went to the run. They're a power run team. It's not like they went to. It's like they were a little bit lost with their offensive.
They actually passed it more out of anything, which is nuts.
I think they kind of shied away from what made them successful during the regular season.
100%.
I think that's what ended up hurting them. But so I had. I know he came off an injury. Mark Andrews' usual lines are in the 50s, sometimes in the 60s. Like he's a beast.
But I would have bet that too for what was it?
It was 34.5 yards.
That's so low for Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I figured, he made the catch early. I said, okay, he's going to be involved early. And then he just wasn't. So unfortunately, we're going to chalk that one up as a loss. But then my last bet was Chiefs plus 4.5. And that was I felt like that was over in the first half. Like they just, I wanted to take the money line, but because they gave me the points, I'll take the points there. So 2-1 on that slate. Which was nice. What about you? What did you have for that game?
Well, I'm going to say it right now. And I made this bet probably 10 minutes before the game. I'm not going to lie, because I've always been a big Travis Kelce fan.
Yeah. Got
his jersey.
Yeah.
But I saw a picture of Taylor Swift and I said, he's going to be the first touchdown scorer.
I'm guilty of doing that before. I'm guilty. I did it on the first game she showed up. When like you're growing up at school, your girlfriend, your boyfriend comes to watch you at your game and you like try extra hard. I said, he's getting a touchdown.
He's getting a touchdown because it's Travis Kelce. He's the best there is. And he shows up in the playoffs and I've never hit a first touchdown at all this year, Looch. And I got that for plus 950. Ooh. But then I paired it. If I did that, there was a special on DraftKings.
Yes.
Either Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes to throw 1+ touchdowns in the first quarter.
Yes.
DraftKings special boosted at 125. I put 1.8 units on that.
Nice.
So automatically I was up a couple of units by that.
Right off
I
the
think
first
6.5
play. Yeah. Nice.
So that kind of set my day. I unfortunately did have the over for this game. I had over 44.5. I know these were the two best defenses, but I really thought the trajectory of this game being 14-7, I was like, oh, this is going to hit.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then both defenses just kind of took over.
Yeah, for
Other
sure.
than that, I had Pacheco over rushing yards, Nelson Aguilar over 16.5. I had some parlays that didn't hit. What did I have? Lamar Jackson killed my parlay anytime score.
Yeah.
But other than that, I did pretty well in this game. I kind of veered away from Patrick Mahomes once again killed me on rushing yards.
Oh yeah, you know what?
24.5.
He's pretty sneaky good. He's a pretty good rusher, honestly. I've hit a couple of those during the season. But
very good.
He just his escapability. He just gets out. He seems faster than he really is. He can move in the pocket, but that's good. Let's see, like first possession, you get yourself a Kelsey touchdown, and it sets your day. Nice. Yep. Well done.
And congrats to your Chiefs. I mean, listen, I wanted to take the Chiefs +4, but I think because hype around Baltimore and how well they've been doing and being at home, I just decided to take the over, but that was a terrible pick.
I actually thought the Ravens were going to win, but I thought it was going to be by a field goal. Like a Justin Tucker.
Too.
So that's kind of why I was like, okay, I didn't want to take the money line. I kind of was comfortable with the 4.5. But if it was plus 2.5, I wouldn't have taken it, to be completely
That would have been
honest.
tough.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
that would have been
so
tough.
I just said, you know what? I'm taking my 4 and we're moving on.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to the NFC Championship game. This is one for the books. Such a heartbreaker, but for Lions fans, their first playoff, I think, appearance in 30 years. And ironically, I think these two teams, Looch, I saw met in 1957.
Wow.
I think that was the last time in the playoffs. And not only that, the score was flip-flopped. I think it was 24-7 49ers.
Really?
And I think the Lions came back. You can fact check that.
Damn,
I could be completely wrong.
Cool.
But anyway, San Francisco ends up getting the win 34-31. Tell me your thoughts a little bit about this game.
Yeah.
Unfortunate for the Lions. Had all the momentum.
Yeah, I was honestly, they were a feel-good story. I was rooting for them. I feel like all of, everybody who's a football fan,
all of
besides
America,
besides the Niners fan, kind of wanted to see the story continue. Great team, great, very well coached. Jared Goff played well. Their weapons all played well. It was a good game. They dominated the first half. Absolutely took it to the Niners. Ran the ball with power. Montgomery, Gibbs are just what a combination of backs they have.
What a combination. Laporta.
Oh, their O-line
the future is very bright for them.
Very, very bright. Their O-line is incredible. Jared Goff made some great plays. They showcased their speed. Jameson Williams on that, that end around.
That sweep. Yeah.
Just what a first half. Unfortunately, games aren't won at halftime. There was a couple big moments which we'll get into, like coaching decisions and such. But I feel like the momentum killer was that missed pick that Ayuk grabbed, and you could tell in that stadium. You're like, like I think they're coming back. Like you could just feel it.
How is the best way to describe, if you were watching this game, 49ers receiver Brandon Ayuk had the craziest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be intercepted. He somehow has the ball. Yeah. He was down by contact.
Yeah.
At what, the 2
or something? Yeah.
And then the next play, he scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was honestly one of the most brilliant. I mean, that was the game changer in this game, Luke. Yeah. We can argue Dan Campbell in a second, but honestly, that was a game changer. Yeah. That's what gave them the momentum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you said, the stadium came alive.
Cool. Yeah.
And I thought that was intercepted. Did you not?
Honestly, I know it's easy in hindsight to say whatever they could have won, they would have, they should have, but I think if that's picked, I think it's over. Like I know it might 100%. I know it might, not be a popular opinion or so, but you pick that ball off, there's no 7. They don't have the momentum on their side. And I think they went 3 and out next possession. And you could just tell they were the nerves were just building, and you could the Niners are the Niners. 100%. They're gonna, once they get their offense going, Brock Purdy, CMC, Kittle, they're arguably the best team in the league from top to bottom. But that play, oh man, that was a heartbreaker for Lions fans.
San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan, he always has something up his sleeve,
Oh yeah.
and they're kind of a team that's built to win when they have a lead. So I'm really impressed the ability to come back,
Yeah.
set,
Yeah, that was credit to the
24 to
whole
7 at halftime.
credit to the whole Niners team. They whatever game
27
plan
unanswered points.
whatever game plan they had
Second
in the
half.
second half, just you better replicate that against the Chiefs, because that was a hell of a game plan second half.
So Jared Goff, he did pretty well, 273 yards, 1 touchdown. Brock Purdy, he went 1-1 for 267. What I was really impressed with is Detroit's running game against the 49ers, who were incredible against the run. But we saw the week before, we saw Aaron Jones kind of torch them, but David Montgomery had 93 yards. Christian McCaffrey did his thing, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then having Debo back, which I don't know if you put any bets on him, that was huge. He had like 90 yards, 89, 90 yards.
Yeah.
So
he was honestly, and I know people were nervous because without him in the lineup, even Kyle Shanahan
changed
said
everything.
The game, there's certain plays that he comes out with on third down that are, if Debo isn't in this lineup, he's like, I have to remove, I don't remember how many plays he said, like 5 or 6 of his go-to plays out of the playbook because of how important he is to his offense.
And he's so strong. He's so good at breaking that tackle and getting the first down. We saw that multiple times.
Yeah, just what a baller. I didn't take any of his props, and I usually don't get scared of it because
I didn't either.
To be honest, I wasn't scared of the Andrews prop because we came off an injury, whatever. There's something in me that didn't take it. I don't know.
Me too.
I
think because the injury and just big games and
it wasn't logical on my end because I took a guy that just missed the whole season basically, and then was scared for Debo. But and I should have just flip flopped. It wasn't the right call for me. I ignored it.
Well, I mean, listen, Detroit did what a lot of people thought they were going to do. They blitzed the heck out of Brock Purdy.
Yeah,
but he was really good at getting the ball out, and we had like Patrick Mahomes. He had that incredible catch to what was it, Jennings?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like he made some amazing plays.
Yeah,
Kyle Jay on the sideline.
Yeah, Kyle. I mean, Brock Purdy's escapability, like the way he
ran,
he avoids a sack. Yeah, he had like 50 yards. He was running. There's been multiple plays where you look like, okay, it's a sack. Yeah. And he just escapes, and then he found Juszczyk on that one. He found Jennings on that other one. He found Kittle one time by breaking a sack. Like
Kittle he only had 27 yards, but that catch was huge.
Huge, yeah. And he just breaks. Imagine, like, that's such a game changer if you're a momentum swing. If you take the sack there, like you lose 7 or 8 yards, and this time he gets a first down. He's just like, he was great. He was fantastic. In the second half, in the first half, they were a little shaky, but
it was a little flat.
But second half, Purdy was just, he was great. He was a hell of a player.
So for touchdowns, what do we have? We had Christian McCaffrey with 2, Jameson Williams, I believe, with 2. Or no, he had 1. Sorry, 1.
The sweep.
The sweep. What else did we have? We had Gibbs. Ayuk.
Yeah, there was some fireworks.
Eli Mitchell.
Yeah, there was some fireworks. Christian McCaffrey is there anyone as automatic as him to just get 1 touchdown? Like, I feel like I bet
it anyway.
Yeah,
I bet it anyway.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, death taxes. Christian McCaffrey is gonna just get something. Like he's just gonna walk in the end zone. It's
automatic.
Easy. I think he had a crazy streak from the start of the season. I don't know how many games in a row it was. I think it was like
11,
20... 12, or I don't remember the exact number, but in a row, just constant, just touchdown.
Well, that was from last season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you carry over from last season, oh my god.
And then he had that one game, and if you're listening to this, where everybody bet on CMC, and man, he didn't get it. He broke a lot of hearts that day.
Yeah, I remember the whole world was like, oh, CMC touchdown is free, it's easy, and then the one game you're
free.
Like, oh gosh, just that was heartbreaking. I remember that.
So real quick, before we get into some controversial topics, did you have any bets in this game?
I did, yes. So I went for George Kittle actually over 60.5. He didn't
really.
He performed very well in over the last 10 games. He performed very well at home. I loved his matchup. Honestly, like he was very important, especially come the playoffs. I wasn't sure if Debo was gonna be. They say they're 100%. Yeah. I wasn't sure he was 100%. So I figured, next man up, George Kittle's going to have a day. He didn't have the best game of all time. You know that
You took him for what?
Over 60.5 receiving
Right. I had
yards,
him in a parlay for 49.5. So
yeah. So it's
I think we both had the right idea there that we thought he was going to be pretty involved.
I definitely thought he was going to be involved. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out. And then I had the Lions plus 7.5. Same. Which is great. That obviously
is the sweatiest spread I've ever sweat in my entire life.
Honestly, the first half, I'm thinking, oh yeah, just cash it out early. Like, don't even worry. Like, they should just pay me right now because we're way up. But my God, at the end, they made me sweat. They made me. Thank God I had 7 and I was considering.
It was Jameson Williams that had 2 touchdowns. He did have that one in the back of the end zone. That's what gave us our points.
Oh yeah, I guess I forgot about that. Honestly,
that's what got us the points on 4th down in the back of the end zone.
Yes.
When we were all praying to the fantasy gods.
So yeah, I had those two. Lions plus 7.5 and Kittle. So 1-1 on that. What about you for this game?
Yeah, like yourself, I had I didn't want to take any money lines here. If anything, I was inclined to take Detroit, but Cinderella story. I decided to take the 7.5 points. And I looked at a family member halfway and I go, man, this is looking pretty nice.
Yeah.
24/7. And then I saw them just allow 27 unanswered points. And I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I had the 7.5. I had CMC anytime score. I know that was like minus 300, but I have to take it, no matter what you put on it. Let's see what else I had. I had a parlay that almost hit. I had Brock Purdy over yards, 267 yards he ended up having. And the only thing that killed it was George Kittle.
Oh, the 49
just wasn't involved.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
So it's okay. Ended up going 2-1 on that game.
Yeah, nice. But still up units on the whole weekend, which is nice.
Yeah, there was one I wish I took, and that was Sam Laporta over yards because, listen, he's a rookie, but his chemistry with Jared Goff and his ability to convert in the 2-minute drill is insane.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a rookie, that's for sure. He looks like he's been in the league for a long time. He's
going to be great.
He's gonna be great. And they actually held on to their offensive coordinator, the Lions.
Yeah, Ben Johnson. Yeah, he's not going to the Commanders. He's staying.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna go, and honestly,
I'm happy.
Yeah, kudos to him. Apparently, I'm sure he could have gotten a lot of money. He could have gotten himself a head coaching job, but he 100%. Believes in his team. He believes in the Lions. And honestly, I wasn't concerned, but I felt like if he were to leave, you get somebody else in, it might not be as smooth as it was. There's that transitional period, but now that they're
Eagles, look at a lot of these teams, they can't adapt.
Exactly.
To these new coordinators.
Yeah, so it takes time, and for them to run it back tells you that Detroit's doing something right. They're very well coached, and
100%.
I honestly was a little concerned if he were to leave. I don't know if they were going to run it back. I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game again next year. I really
maybe get a couple defensive pieces in that secondary.
Yeah, they drafted so well this year.
Oh my God. I had those 2 guys in my dynasty.
Yeah.
Gibbs and Laporta. Everybody laughed at when they drafted Gibbs.
They did. They were like the 12th pick. The value is not there, but they can laugh at all the value all they want. But man, they have a beast. And
honestly, I don't know if I like that Montgomery pickup in the beginning of the season.
I didn't either.
Coming from Chicago.
I'm not going to lie.
But listen, he 93 yards. Luch.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, do they need him? Because you spent all this draft capital on a running back. But you know what? Sometimes the 2-headed monster, you got to, they're two different backs. You got a game plan for them so differently. And it works. It just works.
So speaking of offense, I want to get into this. We'll spend a couple of minutes talking about this. The Lions have always been a team, and we can argue this for a couple minutes. They were at where they were at, Looch, because of Dan Campbell's, the head coach of the Lions.
Yes.
His aggressiveness.
Yes.
And he has been going for it on 4th down. The percentage is very high.
Yeah.
All season long.
Yes.
There was a couple of instances here where they could have taken the field goal and could have taken the points. Where did they ended up going for 4th down on this game?
They did the 4th and 2.
I think they were 1 for 3, correct, on 4th down.
Yes. They missed 2 times.
I just want to confirm that.
Yeah.
So, all right, you're 1 for 3 on 4th down. You're Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
You're playing against the 49ers who they've been torching though. I mean, they were up 24-7. I can see what he was saying.
Yeah.
But would you have gone for the fourth down? I mean, this is such a controversial topic.
It is. And I'm here. Listen, I'm not the coach. I don't get paid like the coach. Dan Campbell is there because
his coaching.
He's coaching. The Lions are there because of the way he coaches. He's incredible. But my take, what I would have done if I was a head coach, the first play, the first time when it was 4th and 2, I probably would have, just because they had the momentum. He was looking for the kill shot. I know.
They go big or go home.
Yeah, I know. Like, and you could talk analytics all you want, whatever. The first one, 4th and 2, he gets it. He looks like a genius. He misses. He looks dumb. It just, unfortunately, the result wasn't there. He actually dropped it. Reynolds dropped the ball. Like,
he had two drops.
2 big drops. Yes,
and that would. Those were on 4th down, and those should have been and could have been complete passes. So that's why I'm not trying to be overly aggressive about this.
I agree. I think the first one I would have gone. I'm okay with it. The only one that irked me a little bit, where I was like, oof, I know you're aggressive, but take your points, was the one at the end, because
when St. Brown, they were trying to get St. Brown.
Yeah. So
I actually walked away from that play because I literally said to the person I was sitting next to, there's no way he's doing this for a 4th time.
Yes.
Third time.
Man, like, I love the aggressiveness, but if I was
would have
there,
taken the points.
Take your points, because then if the Niners scored like they did, at least you have your money drive, and if they go down the field and they score with under 20 seconds left, Dan Campbell's going for the win.
Yep, 100%. There were 7 minutes left in that. I think 7.5 minutes at that point. That's way too much time.
Yeah,
to just kill it and say, "Oh, we're just gonna give it away."
Yeah, I would have probably kicked that field goal. But a lot of the Lions fans are gonna say, the aggressiveness kind of got me there, so let's just keep going with it. I'll probably, yes, and I do agree. That's why the reason they're there. I just think that last one should have been a kick. That's all.
100%.
I know I read a stat that, Badgley from 40 plus,
I was just going to say it.
The stats say that it was a better chance to convert on 4th down. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're a Lions kicker, if you're a free agent and you're looking to sign a contract in the NFL with the Detroit Lions, it might be better to look somewhere else, because you are not going to get a lot of opportunities. You're just going to kind of kick when they feel like it. Maybe on the 4th and 25, you might get your kick in. But what about you? Do you like it? You didn't like it?
I think I started something on Twitter because I think I saw a Greg Olsen tweet. The biggest criticism used against analytics is that it doesn't take into account the team or the situation. Michael Bagley, the kicker, is 45% from his career from 48 plus.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that, the Lions have taken a high percentage of 4th down and been very successful this season. But what was the success against the 49ers at that time? At this point, it gets too analytical. They were torching the 49ers. I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation if Reynolds didn't drop the passes.
Exactly. If he grabbed it the first time, we wouldn't be talking about this.
And we can't forget that Gibbs did fumble. Gibbs had a very costly fumble.
Yeah.
So it's like all of these things happened. I mean, after this happened. But, it's a series of unfortunate events. If you went for it and you took the points, would Gibbs still have fumbled? Would have Reynolds have, would your defense would have held up against CMC?
It's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda have.
It's woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, so if I'm Dan Mitchell, I'm going to be aggressive. He doesn't regret it. Like you said, I'd be a little bit more conservative. Maybe I wouldn't have taken the points all the time. Yeah. I mean, he got Jameson Williams in the end zone at the end.
Yeah.
But it was just that first, and you got to remember, Moody missed his kick as well.
He did, yeah.
So it kind of offsets some things, and there's just a lot of contributing factors here.
Yeah.
But one thing I really was really impressed about was their 2-minute drive at the end.
Yes.
Laporta in the middle of the field. Reynolds had a nice catch. I believe that guy number 86, Ferkshire.
Yeah.
He was almost in the his first reception of the season, and
Imagine.
he can't get over the line.
That would have, oh my, what a story that would have been. That would have been.
What a story.
Oh, I would have loved that. I would have loved that.
One other thing I do want to say is that I think the wrong move here was running it with Montgomery on third down there and having to take the timeout. So we can sit here and speculate all we want, but it was still a great game betting wise. It was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
You should have gotten a lot on this. Personally, I think the over hit, it was 53.
Yep.
Detroit covers.
Yep.
It was a great game.
Game of the weekend. Game. It was, I love, I'm more of an offensive, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, want the fireworks, 55 to 54, but, that was a hell of a game. And,
Heck of a game. Shootout for sure.
Kudos to the Niners for, being the best, probably one of the best teams all year long, getting it done.
And now we get a rematch.
So
with that said, Looch, I'm going to move into the Super Bowl. It's not until the 11th. We will have a show. We're going to have a very good podcast next week coming up about this. But I do want to get into the opening lines, look at them real quick.
Yes.
It looks like the 49ers are favored by 2.5, the opening line here.
Yeah.
The over-under is looking like 47, which I like that.
Yeah.
And the money line, 49ers at minus 125, Chiefs at plus 110.
Yes.
And it looks like 86% of the money is going in on the Chiefs for the money line.
Yeah.
And 65% is going in for Chiefs to cover 2.5.
Yeah. What are your initial thoughts on that? I know we're not going to give many predictions and stuff like that, but initial thoughts on, are you surprised? Is that expected?
I mean, listen, the Chiefs have been the underdogs the entire postseason, right? They've gone on the road to win twice. They went in to win at Buffalo, and then they went in at. I have to look at my analytics, but something's telling me Chiefs. It's hard to tell where the big money. I think a lot of the big money is coming in on the 49ers, where the sharp action is going to go.
Yeah.
But right now, I believe on FanDuel, 49ers at 1.5. Bet MGM, Caesars, Bet 65 points bets. It's all, I believe, 2.5.
Yeah.
Really expect this line to change too much.
Yeah, I don't anticipate it either. Maybe a half a point here or there, but it's just such a good game. Really, there's not a team that everyone's overwhelmingly dumping their money on one side or another. I think the money will kind of even out by the end of the next few weeks.
I mean, these are two great defensive teams, but part of me feels like this is going to be very high scoring. I don't know. It better not be that Super Bowl where Jared Goff was in the Rams Patriots and they laid an egg and scored 3.
The punters were the MVPs. We could have given the
Todd
punter
Gurley
the MVP.
went MIA.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that Super Bowl. I was oh my God. They were literally making a joke on the broadcast that Johnny Hekker should win MVP of that Super. I was like,
that was crazy.
If a punter won an MVP, I said, I'm glad. I probably should have missed that Super Bowl. Oh man. But
so do you like this line? Does it look pretty solid?
I think it's fair.
I was even gonna say even 1.5, but
yeah, I think it's gonna settle around that one and like a 1 or but I don't think it's gonna be a pick 'em. I think the Niners are a better team, but I'm not surprised that the Chiefs are getting the money. The biggest X factor here obviously is Patrick Mahomes. It's
Patrick Mahomes.
He's gonna get the money. It's just how it is. It's what he does. He's a winner. So just first initial reaction, I didn't dive obviously too deep into it. I'm not super surprised at seeing the line where it's at. I think that's very fair. I don't know where I'm leaning here yet, but I like the lines. I like the lines.
I just know that with Greenlaw and Warner, that's going to be tough.
Oof,
it's going to be tough for the running game. It's going to be tough for Kelsey. But I think the main thing in this, and I don't want to dive too deep into it, is if Kelsey can't be a factor, I don't see them winning. I don't trust the receivers. I mean, I love Rice. He's amazing rookie, but can we trust MVS? I mean, last year he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But you don't have Juju this year.
Yeah.
I
honestly, if they game planned Kelsey well, you're right. Honestly, I can't see.
It's over.
I can't see. He's got to be a factor. He's got to have his 10 catches. He's got to get a touchdown. A lot's got to go right, I think, for this Niners unit. But
even with the opening line, I think, just real quick, like, yeah, you have some weapons on the Kansas City side, but you're going up against Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Brandon Ayuk,
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel, George Kittle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough.
It's tough for any team.
Tough guard.
And you know what? And I love the matchup even better because
I do too.
it
Love
reminds me of do you remember when the Panthers made the Super Bowl and the Broncos? It was all the best offense in the league versus the best defense in the league kind of thing.
But it was such a low-scoring game, was it not?
It was, I believe.
That was with Peyton.
Yeah.
I think that was 2014, that
was a while
Super Bowl.
ago. Yeah, and because the Chiefs are the second highest scoring defense, or points allowed defense, and the Niners are just one of the best offenses in the league. It's like a match made in heaven. I think this was meant to be the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Speaking of that Broncos Super Bowl, people are still talking about how the Broncos defense carried Peyton Manning.
Oh yeah,
that game.
Yeah,
you still hear about that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I know. Honestly, that was honestly.
But you can't.
That was his last Super Bowl he won, but that was the season that the Panthers went like 15-1 or something insane, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I still remember
Great
that.
times.
Yeah, that was nuts. I remember that.
All right, so switching gears, if you're NBA, we're going to be moving a lot into the NBA and hockey moving forward in future episodes. Best bets for today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It can always be a little bit tough, Luch, looking at the lines, I think, this early in the morning because the injury report sometimes doesn't come out till late afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing about here. If there's injuries, guys, it is what it is. We try to make our best guess.
Yes.
But sometimes it just doesn't always happen.
Yeah. So what do you got for us today? I'm gonna pull this up here so everybody can see what you got, and
there we go.
Let's hear it. Let's get some winners for the community.
All right. So one prop that I love today, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even look at any analytics. I just kind of looked at the matchup first. It's Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks to have over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Real quick, if you guys look at that screen right there, Props.Cash, we are partnered with them. Use the code BIL to get 25% off your first month subscription. I'm telling you right now, we say this every single episode. We rely on this so heavily. Yes. Accurate data, fast data.
Yeah.
Right, Luch?
Yeah, it's just so if you want to find something fast, instead of going to ESPN and looking Brook Lopez last 10 game log and then trying to find a matchup and then trying to find you're using 2, 3, 4 websites, you got it all here. You have the trends, you have his home and away performance, you have his matchup against the team, you have how the team performs against points, rebounds, assists, where they rank.
Amazing.
Just a one-stop shop for everything you need. And it's obviously, like I said, it's one of the best tools in the business.
100%. So with this prop, and right now I'm even shopping the lines in here. It's super easy. I got it for 125 on DraftKings. I believe it's also at the same price at BetMGM, a little bit higher on Caesars. So I found it on DraftKings for that. And my reasoning for this is that he's been kind of balling out. He's been killing it lately. Averaging a good amount of minutes, around 13 points. He's coming off a 19-point, 2-block, 2-assist game, 2 rebounds against Denver. He's hit this prop in the last 6 games, I believe, straight 6 games. It's hit 90% in the last 10 games. Yeah. And then they're facing a Portland team who just defensively, they are not great. They allow the 18th most points. They are not good in rebounding, even though they have Ayton and Smith. And they allow the 22nd most assists. So if you break this down, it's Dame's homecoming. Sure, he's probably going to overshadow all of this, Luch.
Yeah.
But I like Brook Lopez, man. He's second in the league in blocks, and he's such an important part of this team. Yeah. And their identity. A lot of the times we look at Giannis and Dame, but we forget about Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
So put me in for 19.5. It's 100% in the last 5 games. And he's done fairly well against Portland. He's had 20, 36 dating back to 2022. And the only thing I have to say is he had 19 back in November. If you go to that head-to-head there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm still going for it based off of the matchup.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
His recent gameplay.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
I love that prop for today. So I got that again on DraftKings for -125. Up next, one of my favorite players in the league, very up and coming, is having a fantastic season. Franz Wagner, over 1.5 3-point made tonight. I believe I got that on DraftKings for 130.
Yes.
Looks like that's the best value. Points Bets has it as well at BetMGM. Caesars is a little too high.
Yeah.
FanDuel's too high. But I love this Looch. Listen, he's hit this in 5 straight games, all right? And he's been, back from injury. He's been one of their solid core players. And I know the Orlando Magic have been a solid team. They've regressed a little bit in the Eastern Conference, but they have a juicy matchup. They're playing San Antonio.
Yeah.
And
great matchup.
San Antonio is 26 against points. They allowed 39 percentage 3-point opponents. They allow the 28th most 3-point attempts.
Yeah.
I love this matchup.
It's fantastic.
I just think it's fantastic. And the last time he played the Spurs, I mean, he had three of them in 2 games.
Yeah.
So I really like this. If it doesn't hit, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. No, it's great.
But
it's a great matchup. Fantastic
and one thing I do
matchup.
want to say is that, yes, it's hit in 5 straight games, 70% in the last 10. Wagner's been playing amazing the last 10 games. Not an incredible 3-point shooter this season by any stretch of the means, but he's shooting 41%.
Yeah.
And that's pretty solid. And that's for me to say, all right, he's doing well the last 10 games.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
High percentages in the month of January, good shot volume, 5 3-point attempts per game. Give me that all day.
Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. Up next, what a prop did I have? This one is a little risky. I don't know about this one. First 2 I'm solid on is Giannis over 11.5 rebounds. I think I'm overthinking this. Line is high. He's hit this 4 in the last 5 games. Again, he's going over to Portland. I love those rebounding props loops.
Yeah.
Because they can't rebound, man.
Yeah.
They're just not great in rebounding.
Yeah. You take advantage of that matchup. Yeah.
Yeah. He's coming off 24 cumulative rebounds against Denver and the Pelicans. He's going to Portland, where he had 13 and 16 rebounds against Portland back in November.
Yeah.
So I am not fading this.
No.
I'm not. It's 122 on FanDuel right now. Great value there. It's 135 on DraftKings. And sure, it's only a 49% hit rate, but you have to look at what he's been doing and look at the matchup.
Yeah.
He's going to dominate Ian. Yep. I know it.
I love it.
Cook it and book it and ship it.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Over 11.5.
Beautiful. I love that one. I love it.
And up next, what do we have? Okay, so this one is kind of weird. Again, injury reports aren't out yet. LaMelo Ball, I believe he's on the injury report, correct? For Charlotte?
Yeah, he is.
So I did take Chicago 4.5. They're 24-23-1 against the spread. Listen, Charlotte, yes, Chicago's coming off back-to-backs, but Charlotte is just terrible. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They're 2-8 against the spread in their last 10. Chicago's been staying afloat. They're 5-5 win-loss record in the last 10. Yes, they're coming off that terrible loss against the Toronto Raptors, but even with Zach LaVine out, I'd like for them to cover here against Charlotte. I mean, defensively, Chicago's not a bad team. Charlotte just ranks bottom of the barrel in every statistical category. Luch, would you not agree?
I was just looking at it right now, and they're bad. They're yeah, like to keep
honestly,
it.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
That Terry Rozier came out and said, "You're expected to lose in Charlotte."
Yeah,
But when I went to Miami,
oh my God,
when we lose, which Miami's on a 7-game skid, he goes, "It's not fun."
Yeah, I was just looking at the stats right now. I said, "Oh boy, like yeah, they're not a good team. They're really not a good team."
So unless if Chicago has some kind of injury, I know Chicago, like I said, is coming off that loss, and Charlotte's lost what, 4 straight?
Yeah.
I mean, 4.5 seems really low to me.
Seems low. Yeah, I expected it to
Seems
be like
very low to me.
6.5, 7 range.
I thought this was going to be 6.5, 7. So I'm going to take the 4.5 there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Charlotte's 16-29-0 against the spread. So those are my bets today. Again, Chicago minus 4.5. Giannis Antetokounmpo over 11.5 rebounds. We have Wagner over 1.5 3-pointers made. And I have Brooke Lopez over 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Beautiful. Well done. Well done. Well done. I like it.
Tell
I
the
love
people
it.
what they want to hear. We're moving into hockey. There is a 2-game slate today.
Yes.
3-game slate today.
3 games today.
Tell the people what they want to hear.
Yeah. So this is actually the last game before the All-Star break. So I'm glad I can cover this because All-Star weekend is in Toronto. I'm trying to go, which is going to be awesome. It's only like 45.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's only 45 minutes away from me. All-Star weekend,
nice.
I've never, where are you going to find all this collective talent in one place? I have to find a way to go. So All-Star game is on, the All-Star weekend starts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. This is the last slate before Monday. Now I'm going to go through it quickly. The first bet that I have today is the Anaheim Ducks. These are 2 very bad teams. The Ducks versus the Sharks. I'm not going to lie. This is ugly. Like on paper, this is ugly.
Team.
Like both teams rank in the bottom 5 of essentially every category there is. These teams are both tanking for a top pick, but the X factor that I have in this, why I'm choosing the Ducks, the Sharks are coming off a back-to-back. Their starting goalie, Mackenzie Blackwood, is great. He takes a lot of shots. He makes a lot of saves. They're going to their backup goalie tonight. Anaheim still does have a great top 6 in comparison to the Sharks. The Sharks are missing Thomas Hertl. They're missing Granlund. They just have kind of Couture and a bunch, Duclair. They have good pieces, but I think the Ducks' top 6 forwards and the fact that San Jose is coming off a back-to-back, I have them winning in 60 minutes today. The juice was too much on the money line. It was like minus 174, minus 180. I think they get it done in regulation. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I see like a 3-2. Just not good offenses. Just they're essentially they're both not trying to tank, but they want the number 1 pick so they can add some juice to their lineup. So that is my first bet of the day. Second bet of the day, I have Lucas Raymond on the Detroit Red Wings to get a point tonight. Now, I'm going back to this spot. I had this spot on Monday and I had it on Saturday. He hit on both games. He's now been, since Patrick Kane has been injured for the Detroit Red Wings, he's been promoted to the top line. He has top line power play minutes. So prior to this, he's been a player that has had a lot of talent, but he just hasn't been able to mesh super, super well with Larkin on the top line. When he has the opportunity to go be great, he hasn't grabbed the opportunity and ran with it. Now, this time around feels a little bit different. Detroit's a better team this year offensively, and they're in the top 10 in the league in goals for. They haven't looked this great offensively in a while. Now, I have him to just get a point. He's hitting in a 70% clip over his last 10 games. Here, if I show you his home record right here, that's at home. He's hitting 8 for his last 10. As you can see, he's getting almost 2 points a game the last 3 games. He's on a roll, especially on home ice. If they were away, I probably wouldn't have taken this prop, to be honest, just because as you can see, his performance away from home is a lot stronger. He loves home ice. Last game before the All-Star break versus Ottawa, which is a very poor defensive team. Their goalie, Korpisalo, has unfortunately just been on the bad side of a lot of breaks this year. Just hasn't had his best season, unfortunately. So give me Lucas Raymond for a point tonight at minus 130. I actually got it at minus 125 this morning on FanDuel. Lines look like it's moving up. Maybe a lot of money is being put on him now that they know the opportunity's there. So lock this in while you can now before it gets any juicier. And the last one of the day is, I think this is a very good value prop, honestly. Roman Josi on the Nashville Predators. Yes, they do play the LA Kings. They are good defensively, but the LA Kings and their fans know their last 10 games have been a little bit of a concern. They haven't been playing the type of hockey that they have been accustomed to from the beginning of the season. Roman Josi is their best offensive weapon, one of the best defensemen in the league, plays top minutes, top power play, top unit, just a absolute beast. Now, this is his prop. This is his trends over the last 10 days for an assist, mind you. Like, obviously a goal, he could still score. He's still a good goal scorer. But over the last 5 to 6 years, a majority of his points are assists anyways. You know, he usually scores between 10 and 15 goals on the season, but the rest of the points, especially last year when he had almost 100, have been assists. He's the playmaker. He's the quarterback of the team. He makes their offense run. So give me Roman Josi to get an assist tonight. 8 of his last 10 games versus LA as well. He's hit 4 of his last 6 games. As you can see, some games he gets 3, some games he gets 2. These are just assists. So you could tell, you know, how valuable he is to this team. So give me Roman Josi at plus 110. I actually, the line actually is moving the other way. I got it at plus 105, but plus 110 just for an assist tonight versus LA. They're at home. LA is struggling a little bit. Let's take advantage of this matchup. And those are my 3 NHL picks for the day. Love the plays.
Love it.
If I had to
Very
pick
impressive.
If I had to pick my
I'm tailing you tonight.
If I had to pick my favorite one.
I'm tailing you.
The last play.
Last play.
Plus 105.
Okay.
It's speaking to me.
It's a lock.
It's speaking to me. I love it, especially for value.
All right.
Yeah,
Telling you, man.
I love this. I love this tonight.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you guys are covered. You got a lot of good NBA, NHL stuff. Great job, Luch. I'm not going to lie. Oh. Teaching me a lot more about hockey.
See, I'm learning.
Like, I know hockey, but it's not, like I said, it's not my... You bring the hockey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the hockey gods.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
Because we both kind of bring...
Same with the NBA, for example. Like, I watch it, and I know, you know, you watch hockey, but to now hear somebody's perspective that has been betting in the industry 40 years and really understands the sport, it really makes you, you know, it'll allow the viewers to learn too. Like,
absolutely
what we're looking at, what we, you know, use our area of expertise to share our knowledge with the public. And, you know, you're teaching me as much as about the NBA too. So it's cool.
And I may want to teach you about that CD Lamb jersey behind you.
Oh, yeah. That's good. Yeah, I forgot.
You guys will know I do not like the Dallas Cowboys.
I forgot you're
we
a
will.
Giants fan. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait till next year. I cannot wait.
Unfortunately, it didn't end well for both of us this season. But maybe when the teams are more evened out a bit, I think we're going to have some duels again.
It's going to be a great, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
But today was great. We had a lot of, in case if you're just coming in or recapping towards the end, Luch and we recapped the AFC NFC Championship. We looked at the Super Bowl lines. We recapped our best NFL bets. And today I gave my best NBA bets and Luch gave his best NHL bets. If you guys want to go check out Props.Cash, go do that. It's amazing. Use the code BIL. And also, if you are a participant in your state with PrizePicks, use the code LIFE. It's a player prop. You have to do 2 at a time. It's actually pretty amazing. Yeah. They actually have a special on there. I don't know if it's still there, but it was actually Patrick Mahomes. I believe it was like over 0.5 passing or rushing yards.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So if you're able to do that in your state, go sign up and go use that. So next week, Luch, I think we're going to be talking about a lot of heavy Super Bowl coverage.
Yes.
Maybe we'll sprinkle in a little bit of NBA and hockey, but big Super Bowl show coming up next week. Absolutely. So no NFL this weekend. But mid next week, we should have all of our props out for you guys. Yes. The line should be all set and should be good to go.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I'm excited for the NBA tonight and the NHL. Let's go win some money.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to for next week. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to follow us, we are Cook It and Book It. We are on iTunes podcast. We are on Spotify. We are also Cook It and Book It on YouTube. And most importantly, Ball is Life Podcast Network. We have our own section on there on YouTube if you would like to see our VODs. Also, make sure to follow both Luch and I on Twitter and also Ball is Life Bets on all socials. We are building that brand, and we also have our own free Discord for that.
Yes.
So we'll see you guys next week. Luch, I appreciate you again.
Thank you again for
Let's win tonight.
Always a great show. Let's win tonight. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you again.
See you guys. Have a great day.